All right, welcome back to What She Said Sports. Let my camera find me. All right, so we're in here. Y'all see what's on the screen? We just wait for me to appear. I'm here. I'm right here. All right, it don't see me. Hold on one second. It don't see me. All right, let's see if it find me. While we're doing that, Maxx Crosby. That's who is first up. Because why? Maxx Crosby is first on deck. Let's see. Do you see me? They don't see me. I just don't want to find me today. All right, let's see. It don't like me today. I have no idea. It don't want to see me. Let me make sure we got the right one. Yeah, we got the right camera. We'll go off and come back in. Let's see. Okay. Oh, nope. All right, let's see. Maybe brighter light will help. All right, so it found me. Okay, so it must have been too dark. All right, so Maxx Crosby, welcome back to What She Said Sports. Maxx Crosby failed his physical, y'all. And y'all know he was headed over to the Ravens. Supposedly it was a done deal. But remember, this is the negotiation period. So they were, I guess, finalizing his deal with the Ravens, and he failed his physical. So it's being said that the deal is void on the Ravens end. It takes the amount of cap hit and puts it back on the Raiders. Now, it's not as much of a big deal as the Raiders, who had the most cap space in the NFL. In fact, I think they'd already spent $231 million on talent acquisition and on day one of the negotiation period. So Maxx Crosby going out helped them to be able to have just a little bit more room to do that. But I heard they still have money left. So he's not going to the Baltimore Ravens. So in addition to the Baltimore Ravens being the offense being dismantled, all the best players being taken away, they said Kyle Hamilton was silent. It was just crickets from him because Baltimore was just a contender. And overnight, day one negotiations, they're no longer a contender. Now, some people speculate that his contract was seemingly void and the excuse was given that he didn't want to be a Raven after they were no longer a contender. I think he wanted to go to a contender. So now they're saying he could get traded again to a different team, but Baltimore is out. And I'm like, how can he get traded to a different team if he failed his physical? So I had to think about who we know that failed their physical and ended up at a different team. We had a Colorado Buff, Will Shepard, who got signed with Tampa originally, failed his physical, had to hang back a little bit, had a tryout with Denver. That was a no-go. Then he ended up signing with Green Bay. So it's doable. It's doable. So he can actually end up maybe in Pittsburgh, maybe on another team that has the cap space to absorb him before free agency opens, which is overnight. So likely before we heard about all of this, he heard that he failed his physical, and I'm sure he and his agent were working to try to find another solution. Now, to me, if he wanted to be there, I don't know why they just wouldn't work to keep him there. Is there a rule that if you fail your physical with this team, you can't hang back, fix the problem, and come back again? Because how can the other team take you right away without you sitting out? Because Will Shepard had to sit out for a little bit. Remember that? So y'all let me know your thoughts about Maxx Crosby failing his physical. The trade from the Raiders to the Ravens is a void. He was a big plus on the defensive side after the offensive side was being dismantled. So now the team is in shambles. The team is just in shambles. They lost their defensive coordinator. They lost Maxx Crosby, who clearly wanted to go to a contender. They lost Isaiah Likely. They lost the third string tight end. They lost the punter, and on and on. And of course, the center, Tyler Linderbaum, who went to Vegas. But I hear his $81 million contract is safe. So Maxx Crosby is in limbo. Let's see what happens. All right. So let me know your thoughts there on Maxx Crosby and what y'all think is going on and how quickly he could rebound from a failed physical and wind up on a contender. Let me know. Let me know. Let me know. Okay. So before we get into the Browns, let's talk about, we still with the Baltimore Ravens. The Baltimore Ravens is garnering a lot of attention. I gave them an F- for their day one antics with dismantling the team. And today, this is what was discussed. It was discussed that Lamar Jackson is set to count $74 million against the cap by tomorrow afternoon. It said the Ravens can lower that number by extending him or by doing a simple contract restructure. So he can restructure his contract or they can extend his contract. It said Baltimore has repeatedly said it hopes to extend the MVP QB. Now, let me ask you a question. Does Baltimore really want to extend Lamar by dismantling the damn team? So much so that I actually do believe the failed physical is a part to get me out of here because they done blew it all up. That's what he's giving. That's I want to see it. Depending on how quickly Maxx Crosby lands somewhere else, it will explain some things. Because if you fail the physical, that means you need to repair the problem. And you're going to need to hang back for a minute to repair the problem. So if you got to hang back for a minute, free agency could come and go, and you stuck where? Unless you're going to go back to Baltimore. But the contract, the deal is void. They didn't say pending. It said void. So they're moving on without him. The Raiders are seemingly moving on with his cap hit. They're not worried about it. So where does that leave Maxx Crosby? And now, Lamar, I told y'all, I said, how do you dismantle your offense the way you did and prioritize the worst players over the best players, including number 77 and including Mark Andrews? How do you prioritize the worst people and get rid of the people that you brought in so Lamar can have somebody to throw to as contract negotiations or coming or happening or pending, upcoming, looming, however you want to say it? You can't do that unless you're trying to tell Lamar, you know what? We just gonna restructure your contract. We're not gonna extend you. We're just gonna restructure what you have. It's like it's what happened with the Ravens. The F- that I gave them was earned. That's why Kyle Hamilton is reported to be silent like crickets because he can't believe the team was gutted like that. These guys want to go to contenders and left the Ravens. They went to contenders. So we'll have to see what happens to Lamar Jackson. And now Maxx Crosby's in limbo. Let me know your thoughts. All right. So let's get on to Cleveland because Cleveland got enough of its own, enough issues of its own. First and foremost, it's being said that Devin Bush is a big loss to the Browns. Yes, because they said he was a star linebacker and that they were prioritizing him. But he ended up in Chicago with a contender. So people were speculating that he chose to leave. I asked the question if the Browns lowballed him, so he took a better offer from Chicago, or it didn't matter what they offered him. He wanted to get the hell out of Cleveland. Now, it's reported that some linemen did not want to come to Cleveland, which means Cleveland's reputation is trash. And they did it to themselves, right? So all of the people who could command a high price tag or were considered stars went elsewhere. That's just basically what it is. They went elsewhere. And Devin Bush is one of them. And now the Browns are putting out on their Cleveland.com that Devin Bush going to Chicago could be a problem for him by saying that he's not used to the type of defensive system that they run in Chicago. So it could be a problem for him. I'm like, well, he can learn, right? I mean, Devin Bush has the ability to learn things, right? So he played at Michigan. And I'm sure Michigan's defense was different from the Cleveland Browns defense or where he was actually drafted number 10 overall first round, Pittsburgh Steelers. So he's been from Michigan to the Pittsburgh Steelers to the Browns. I'm pretty sure he'll be fine with the Chicago Bears. So the Browns are giving me the impression that they don't particularly care for the fact that Devin made a decision for himself potentially and left. That's just what it's giving. Why would you put that out there? Why would you put that out there that their system doesn't work for him? Did you offer him money to stay? And if you did and he didn't want it, maybe fix your reputation because Devin is not the only person that's reported that did not want to come to the Browns. In fact, Tyler Linderbaum, I read a story probably last week that somehow he was kind of blocking certain teams. Like he was like, I don't want to talk to them. And it could have been the Browns, even though his former coach, Ty Munkin, is over there. Again, that speaks to Cleveland's reputation. And I asked the question, what does it say that Munkin came from the Ravens and all of those Ravens players left and none of them came to the Browns? Not one. Not even DeAndre Hopkins, who played with Deshaun. And since they want to keep talking about Deshaun being a quarterback, well, wouldn't you want to bring DeAndre Hopkins over so you can reunite their dynamic duo? Oh, they definitely wouldn't do that because that's what started all the BS in the first place. When DeAndre Hopkins left, they moved him out in the middle of the night, basically, from underneath, not even talking to Deshaun about it, which they said they were going to do. And then Deshaun was upset, naturally, because he's human. And y'all said y'all was going to talk to me before you send my Travis Hunter somewhere else. And then you lied. So I want to trade, and then y'all know the rest. So DeAndre Hopkins coming to the Ravens actually makes sense as a wide receiver. Why? Because we need a good wide receiver, and DeAndre is better than Jerry Jeudy. I've only seen one person defend Jerry Jeudy, and I blocked them. Seriously. There is no defending Jerry Jeudy. And DeAndre Hopkins, since Andrew Berry likes to go to fire sales and get people, he actually could get DeAndre Hopkins, who's talented, played with Deshaun before, will have no problems playing with Shedeur since they are going to rotate all of the quarterbacks they have on their roster. All of them. Including the jaw-dropping move that still hasn't happened yet that we're waiting on that I suspect might be Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray is still available. Geno Smith went back to the Jets where he started his career. Whole interesting situation. It commands a whole nother podcast or a separate video for me to sit down and edit and put together. Kyler Murray is still available. Kyler Murray was being colluded against along with Lamar Jackson and Russell Wilson. Kyler Murray, available for the league minimum, is still available. Just like Shedeur was on day 3 of the draft. And he ended up where for a deep discount. Seems like all the colluded against people end up in Cleveland. Notice the Atlanta Falcons swooped in to get Tua, who left out behind a $99 million dead cap, so they could block their roster so they don't have to get Tua. So they don't have to get Kyler Murray. Notice the Browns hadn't done anything except for the linemen, and we're going to talk about the linemen because we're one away from being set, which says a lot. Kyler Murray is still available, and 32 teams don't need a quarterback for the league minimum. And somebody got to pay him. That's the beauty of it. Somebody got to pay him, unless they're going to let him walk out the door with his guaranteed money, and that's it. Let's see what happens. Free agency lasts for what? Another week? We actually get started tomorrow. So it looks like the league going to have Kyler Murray just sitting around, sitting on his hands to make him seem like he's not wanted. How you going to devalue him? He's already coming over here for the league minimum. He already got his guaranteed money. So the joke's on you. What you're trying to prove is, since nobody wanted you, like Shedeur, we'll put you in the back of the line, which is to humiliate him. I'm telling you how this is going to play out. No team picking up Kyler Murray, but picking up Geno Smith, who they overwhelmingly trashed till his name came up in Epstein files and it's big crickets. He goes back to the Jets, who the owner of the Jets is in the Epstein files. We'll talk about that later. What do y'all think about Kyler Murray still being available? So I asked y'all a question. I wanted to know what y'all thought of the jaw-dropping move and all of the narratives that are out there for what this jaw-dropping move could be. So I put together a poll, and about 23 of y'all answered it. So guess what? Let's look at the results and see what y'all think it is. I forgot to put Myles Garrett on there, but then again, I didn't, because this is about quarterbacks. Tony Grossi said, or was it Rizzo? One of them over there said that the Browns, Andrew Berry, is expected to make a jaw-dropping move and shake up the quarterback room. Those are two things that were said probably by maybe two different people in the Cleveland orbit, but it's about the same thing, the shaking up the quarterback room. Y'all know Malik Willis was in talks apparently with the Browns, and they tried to lowball him, so he knew his worth and went to Miami. Shout out to Malik Willis again. So here's the question. Okay, so there are 4 responses as to the narratives that are floating around as to what the jaw-dropping move is by shaking up the quarterback room. The first one is trade away Shedeur Sanders and or Deshaun Watson, one or both. 65% of the people say they think that's what it is. Trading Shedeur and or Deshaun or both or whatever. The point is it involves Shedeur, Deshaun. That's the jaw-dropping move. The second one is trade for Lamar as the Browns' next QB. Only 4% of the people, and why could that actually be a possibility? I just read it out loud. That the Ravens seemingly are dismantling the team when they were a contender for the last few years or since Lamar been there. They don't want to be a contender no more, so they just blew it all up. Offense, defense, just blew it all up. So they have an excuse for Lamar to go out the door without finishing his career without a ring. Since he's the 3-time MVP. Well, 2-time MVP. They stole his third MVP, gave it to Josh Allen, who did not earn it, and they blew up the team so he don't have a chance to get back there, or at least seemingly that's what they think. Undercutting these guys, undermining these quarterbacks, thinking that they're not competitors, that they can't build chemistry with the new people that they bring in, rally around them, even though some of them are compromised, and still get somewhere. Well, let's see what happens. Some people think Lamar need to move on. I don't know where he's going, but I'm one of them. All right, so I'm still watching Lamar. It says the third option is signing Kirk Cousins or Russell Wilson as the Browns' next QB. Okay, so how many people? 17% of the people believe that is a possibility. Why? Because Kirk Cousins and Russell Wilson are available. Now, Russell Wilson already interviewed with the Browns, and it was now we don't need no quarterbacks. Then they ran out and got Shedeur, Dillon, Flacco, and Pickett. They got 4 quarterbacks after they interviewed Russ and said we don't need no quarterbacks. So Russ goes over to New York for 1 year for $10 million, and they essentially try to kick him out the league. Then he hires David Mulligetta, who is Malik Willis's as well as Deshaun Watson's agent. That's a very good agent. I think maybe Juju Lewis at Colorado too, maybe. Or will be in the future. So Russell Wilson has Mulligetta shopping around for him. And it is said that Russ could, end up in Cleveland because they like stacking black quarterbacks and turning them into a trio, collecting them like infinity stones just to humiliate them and push them out the league. But see, Russ is already out the league. So I don't think it's Russ. But 17% of the people think it's Russ or Kirk Cousins. I can see Kirk Cousins because I don't know how this man keep falling into money like he does for little output. 140, 180, $80 million in Atlanta for 22 football games. 22. There's only 18 in one season. So that's one season in 4 games. One season in 4 games, 140 or $80 million. So it's him. That's what I say. I say, okay, they probably gonna get him. No, it doesn't make absolutely any sense. All right, let's keep it pushing. It said, who's next? The last option is sign and add Kyler Murray, who's just sitting around like it's day 3 of the draft, and here we go, another quarterback. Now, remember they said Andrew Berry's going to shake up the quarterback room like he did last year, which means he's going to sign somebody that's highly unexpected, that people think they don't need, and that's Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray's just sitting over there. Seemingly, it's given like it did with Shedeur in the draft. All the owners have decided just let him sit there, and we'll deal with it later. I don't know, maybe we'll get a random tweet that talks about how good Kyler Murray is. So it'll look like y'all better draft him or sign him over there in Cleveland. Let me know your thoughts. So 13 people said Kyler Murray. I think it's Kyler Murray, but the way they got him sitting out there for a reason. Humiliating fashion, just like Shedeur in the draft. That's why I said Cleveland, because they seem to be that one franchise that wants to be a dumpster fire with a revolving door for black quarterbacks. I have talked about this. I said it earlier today on X. Somebody was suggesting, of all people, Taylor Green. I told y'all it was going to happen. Taylor Green should come to the Browns. I'm like, do y'all have a fascination with stacking just black quarterbacks together that you're colluding against? We can see you, right? And somebody was like, maybe I just enjoy Taylor Green. I'm like, did you eat him for dinner? Enjoy Taylor Green? I said Taylor Green made a decision for himself in the draft to work out as a quarterback and turn down the option to work out as a wide receiver because he's a quarterback. And suddenly you want to pair him up in Cleveland with the rest of the quarterbacks whose movement is restricted, which, by the way, is the very definition of collusion. You do know we can see you. You do know we can see you. Okay. One long time, Browns fans posted yesterday that he and his family are finally done with season tickets for the Browns after 26 years. They're done. They out. I don't blame them. This is madness. This is madness. This every year is the quarterback conversation. Every freaking year is the quarterback conversation. It's just a revolving door of quarterbacks. And it just seems like after Baker Mayfield was pushed out, they all became black. And it's just to derail their careers and just put them in a dumpster and push them out the revolving door. That's just what it is. That's what it looks like, because you do know we can see you. So I didn't hear any more back after the person said they enjoyed Taylor Green. And I said, did you eat him for dinner? Because what the hell is that? So anyway, that's the poll. People believe, 65% believe that the jaw-dropping trade will be trading Shedeur away and getting Deshaun Watson. That's the jaw-dropping move deal, whatever you want to call it. The second one was signing Kirk Cousins or Russell Wilson. And the third was signing Kyler Murray. I'm going to put that up there, tied with the first. And trading for Lamar. I'm going to put that last. All right, last. All right, so there we go. So I already told you what's going on with Lamar. Yes, we keep tabs on the Baltimore Ravens. We keep tabs on all of the black quarterbacks that were part of the historic year last year, was 16-32 plus one Shedeur, who should have been 17 in the draft, but was pushed down in the draft. And as time has gone on, it appears that push to 144 was all premeditated. And when we look at what's happening this year with Kyler Murray, when we look at what's happening with Geno Smith, when we look at what's happening with Shedeur, yesterday, with it being reported that the Browns aren't counting on Shedeur. They aren't counting on Shedeur. They restructured Deshaun's contract. I think that's why 65% of the people believe that they are part of the shakeup. One of them leave for Kyler Murray coming in. Or Kyler Murray comes in and only, one or both of them go. I don't know. I think there's a risk that the Browns are taking by sitting on Shedeur with 20 million fans watching, because they're going to scream. They're going to call it out. And it would be best to sit him elsewhere. So let's talk about what Andrew Berry has done on day 2. Not too much. Not too much. The Browns aren't moving and shaking like the Raiders, like the Ravens. They aren't moving the sun, the moon, and the stars to become a contender. In fact, they seem content to hobble along. So let's talk about it. All right. So the Browns have some new linemen. We got another one today. Now I like this guy a little better than the other one. So let's talk about who's who, where, and who's still outstanding. Okay, so we still have the left tackle spot, which previously was held by Cam Robinson, to be replaced, right? Some people think that could come in the draft. I think it could come on day 1 of free agency. Why do I think that? So let's talk about who the other 4 are, and it'll kind of make sense. We have the left guard is Tevin Jenkins. He replaced Batonio. Batonio is officially listed as free agency as a top tier guard. Eglinton Jenkins. Now, this is a center. He's 30, and he was Jordan Love's previous center. And then we have Zion Johnson that we talked about yesterday, replaced Wyatt Teller. Justin Herbert, who was sacked 54 times, was his previous quarterback. And then we have Titus Howard, the right tackle, CJ Stroud, previous quarterback. So there's a little pattern happening here, right? It's pattern of dysfunction. That's what it is. So we have Howard, who came from CJ Stroud, along with Cam Robinson, who's to be replaced. And CJ Stroud was sacked 52 times. We got Zion Johnson, who came from Justin Herbert, who was his previous quarterback. Justin Herbert was just sacked 54 times. And now we have Eglinton Jenkins, who's 30, meaning his career is at the end, and they paid him like it, right? And he was Jordan Love's center. So that's disruption for Jordan Love, right? Disrupting the line. Now, mind you, this guy, Eglinton, was a Pro Bowl person, probably about 22, maybe 2022. But he's, he just coming off an injury. He's 30. So he was paid like he's on the way out, right? Titus Howard, he said it himself. He knew that the Texans wanted to go younger. So the Browns thought that was an opportunity to get somebody who's older. Questionable. And then there's Zion. His quarterback was sacked 54 times. And his pass blocking, I think it's either his pass blocking or his run blocking is not good. So between Zion and Titus, one of them lack pass blocking or run blocking, which is tragic, right? So none of these guys are elite. So yes, we're moving and shaking with replacing people. We're doing something, but we're not getting elite O-line. And somebody said to me, well, we need stability more so than we need elite. No, you need talent. You need talent first. Then you need to stabilize the talent. Stabilizing poor performance is what the Browns have been doing. So essentially what Andrew Berry has gone out and done is moved out the mostly white Asian O-line and brought in the mostly black Asian O-line, thinking you'll just shut the hell up. That's what this is. And when you look at where they came from, you just disrupted C.J. Stroud, Justin Herbert, and Jordan Love, and Shedeur Sanders, or you just did them a favor. Let's see what happens, right? So I don't know who the quarterback is for the Browns, whether it's Shedeur, Deshaun, Kyler Murray, Russell Wilson, Kirk Cousins. The point is, the Browns did not put together an O-line to protect the quarterback. And if so, it's on a mediocre level. It's not Fort Knox. Now, they probably could be if that's what they want to be. But I would think that you're going to get more of what you had last year because these are the same people. These are the same people. Jack Conklin needed to be gone. Batonio needed to be gone. Ethan Posick was injured. So Ethan Posick got injured last year, right? Do y'all know the guy that was brought in today, Eglinton? Do y'all know he was released March 9th from Green Bay? He had been injured. So we decided, oh, sure, come on over here with your injury. Well, why we just didn't re-sign Ethan Posick? Oh, because we didn't want to put him in a situation like that again. So basically, Batonio, Posick, Wyatt Teller, maybe Cam Robinson get to go to freedom and maybe end their careers with a contender or nowhere. Let's just see what happens. So we have 4 out of the 5. We have 4 bodies out of the 5. I don't know what's going to happen with Cam. People thinking that they just going to get somebody in the draft. If I didn't get one person out of the 4 that's elite, who am I getting out of the draft? Last year, you know what they got? Cornelius Lucas after the draft, and he's already gone. So we have a revolving door for linemen. And I suspect that they're all black. So you would think, oh, you know, this is good. This is Andrew Berry playing chess. If Andrew Berry was playing chess, why did he just get some elite O-linemen? At least give me 2. The only one that has 2 positives is the one we got today that's 30. So let's talk about him. I'm going to tell you what I like about him. I was happy that Eglinton Jenkins has a 62 overall PFF. I mean, it's not an 80 or nothing, but, you know, it's what it is. But on his pass blocking, like Titus Howard, he's in the 70s. He has a 72. So Titus Howard and Elgington have high pass blocking, which is good. Now, the other guy, Zion, that came from Justin Herbert, who was sacked 54 times, he struggled. He struggled badly with pass blocking. So I don't know why we would get him. I think we would have got somebody that was also good, but he was good at the run block. And this guy right here is 60 at the run block and 72. So he's the best one. The guy that's 30 that was just injured is the best one. He's the best one. And he got, I think, the smallest contract out of everybody. He got the smallest contract. He's the best PFF on run and pass blocking. And I looked at the person he's replacing, Ethan Posick. I looked at his contract. So Ethan Posick had in 2025, he signed a 3-year, $18 million extension, but then he's gone. It was guaranteed $10 million, and he carries a $4 million dead cap hit while he suffered a season-ending torn Achilles injury. Now, why would they bring him back if they just extended him? Instead, they're going to take the dead cap on him, and he's going to go where? I don't know. He just came, got $10 million, and gone. So we got Eglinton in Ethan Posick's place, and he's 30. He's 30. So he was making about $6 million a year. I looked at the new guy's contract. I think he's gonna make maybe 10 million. Let's see. Eggleton will make a 2-year contract for 24 million, which is at $12 million a year, 20 million in guaranteed money. So I mean, that's good for him personally. That's good for him personally, right? I mean, I ain't mad at his bag. And he actually is the best one. And he got 20 million guaranteed. He's 30, just a 2-year contract, which is realistic instead of the 3-year that's never gonna happen. And that's the 20 million guaranteed and $24 million, which is $12 million a year. So he's paid more than Posick, even though they just signed Posick contract and gave him $10 million guaranteed money. See, these are not good decisions. If you just brought Posick in and gave him 10 million guaranteed and took a cap hit for 4 million, why you didn't bring him back? Was he not good? So what does that say about your judgment for picking talent? So this guy right here, I'm looking for him to be the leader because he's the best one. He's the best one at pass blocking, the best one at run blocking. Not that he's elite, but the fact that he's a plus on both sides, pass and, rushing, running, I look for him to be the leader. What do y'all think about that? That's what I like about him. He's good at pass. He's good at block. He can lead the team. Maybe he can help the other guy. What's his name? The new one, Zion. Maybe he can help Zion, who struggles poorly with the pass blocking. So, and then Titus struggles with the run blocking. So it's a hodgepodge with this guy being the best one. I like the fact that he got the bag. Shout out to him. He's 30, so when he gone, he'll be 32. He might end up on another team depending on how he does. And he came from Green Bay, and Jordan Love had only been sacked 5 times all season, they said. So shout out to this guy who I think Eggleton Jenkins, that might be the leader of the team. All right, so we also, this is him right here. So he might wear this same number, 74. I don't know. We'll just kind of have to see. Now he has the same last name as Tevin Jenkins. Now, why are we talking about Tevin Jenkins? Because the Browns re-signed Tevin Jenkins. Now, remember, Tevin came from Chicago. He came from the Bears. He came to the Browns. He took a lot of snaps, but they only 3 games. So they kind of had him in the support function. Now, last year, he had a one-year contract for $3 million. So he must have proved himself in some way, shape, or form as a backup. So he replaces Batonio. He's the guard now, the left guard, where Batonio used to play, for $3 million. So I don't know if he would re-sign for that, but that's what he had last time. They said he re-signed. I didn't see any details on his contract. So I'm going to go with he got another contract, and it's either for 2 years for $10 million, and he get about $2 million a year, somewhere in the ballpark. It's something they saw in him, but he only started 3 or 4 games when Shedeur was quarterback. So we're going to have to see. Now let's talk about the obvious factor here. Let's talk about the obvious factor, not who their previous quarterbacks were and etc. But they're all black. All right. So let's talk about that. Cam Robinson. So we went from a mostly white O-line to a mostly black O-line. And on the outside looking in, you're looking at Andrew Berry. You see his melanin and you think, okay, he getting some talent. He no talent, right? Well, I already pointed out to you the struggles that Titus bring, being older and Texas moving on from him. Green Bay moved on from Eggleton because he's 30, right? And so we got 2 that other teams didn't want because of their age. And you could think, oh, Andrew Berry's just giving him a shot, gave him the bag. Titus Howard get $63 million over 3 years, which is huge, $35 million guaranteed. That's the bag for him. Then Jenkins right here, Eggleton, he gets the bag with $20 million guaranteed, right? So I'm not mad at that bag. Do what you got to do. But what could happen? What position are they in? So I moved out a mostly white O-line. I don't really care for black quarterbacks because I try to devalue Malik Willis, try to devalue Shedeur, did devalue Malik Willis and Shedeur. And then there's Deshaun, who we can't keep healthy for nothing, even though he probably could go to another team and ball out and win something. And then there's Jameis Winston. And then there's Dorian Thompson-Robinson, who we poorly devalued and kicked out the league after trading him to Philadelphia, where Andrew Berry's brother works. So we watched Jerry Jeudy play as one of the worst performers for a wide receiver and never get benched. We watched Joel Bitonio do some dirt diving, and we watched Jack Conklin do some dirt diving, right? So all these guys are gone, and fans are like, good. We got some better O-linemen. We got some more O-linemen. Here's the question. Were those guys bad, or were they compromised? And see, these guys, from what I've observed, they'll start with the Mark Andrews and the Batonios and the Jack Conklins. And once they achieve that feat, then they move on to the Derrick Henrys and to the Cam Robinsons and the KT Levistons and the Tevin Jenkins. And if you notice, none of these guys are elite. Two that we know of that just came in are 30, so they at the end of their career. So I could dangle a carrot over all of their faces because none of them are elite, because they all want to be better than they are or make more money than they do, and get them to be Bitonio and Jack Conklin and Jerry Jeudy. And they're black, like Derrick Henry. It was said that the Browns are thinking of getting another wide receiver because Quinshon Judkins got injured. Quinshon Judkins is healthy. And I told y'all this was going to happen. I just told you. Now watch what happened with Quinshon Judkins after the interview he had about Shedeur and what he had to endure. It wasn't even a whole week. That was yesterday. That was yesterday that I said it. And today they announced, yeah, we're going to get another running back. Now remember, the Ravens, because I've been talking about Monkey, you can't bring nobody. All them good players over there, y'all just cut your running back. You just cut him. You didn't even send him nowhere. He just out here in limbo. Mitchell. Let's see where Mitchell ends up. If he hadn't been signed today, because he's good. But the fact that they want to come out and say, well, yeah, since Quinshon Judkins got injured, maybe we should look at Nick Chubb again. If I'm Nick Chubb, don't call me. Just like Huntley, don't call me. It's the same thing. Wanting to go back to Nick Chubb, wanting to go back to Huntley to push Quinshon and or Shedeur or whoever else, Kyler Murray or somebody out the way. Just using them like commodities. But you didn't believe in neither one of them. You played in Chubb's face. You played in Huntley's face twice. But now you want to talk about Quinshon Judkins got injured and he's fully healthy, and now you need another running back when the running back room is stacked. So what are the Browns looking for? Controllables. Controllables. And this O-line that you see together, that's what they getting ready to have to endure. They getting ready to find out, we didn't give you the bag for nothing. It's something we going to want you to do. Let's see if it happens. And then you're going to really learn if Andrew Berry is playing chess or playing in his quarterback's face. I'm going to go with the latter. So we got some new O-linemen. Cam Robinson is still there. They thinking they're going to get him in somebody else in the draft. I think he's going to be right there. Now, what does it mean that we have 4 of the 5 O-linemen and likely can get a 5th? And we didn't get none of the best O-linemen, but we did give some dudes the bag. We gave some guys whose careers are lackluster over an opportunity to shine, and we gave them the bag. I think we would have just not gave them the bag until they proved their stuff. But considering all their quarterbacks were either sacked excessively like CJ and Herbert, but then again, Jordan Love, maybe that's why, the center is the least contract. I think he would have had the better contract because he has the better talent. But he is 30. So you kind of get an insight into how Andrew Berry thinks with looking at these people, when it comes to getting talent. But overwhelmingly, going from an all-white, mostly white O-line to a mostly black O-line, and you don't value black quarterbacks is highly suspicious. It's very, very interesting. You don't value black quarterbacks, but you're going to now run out here and get a 4 out of 5 or 5 out of 5 black O-line of people whose careers are on the decline. And you're going to give them the bag. Okay, let's see what you want for that bag. So let's talk about some of the other, things that took place through the end of day 2, right? The Browns finalized Titus Howard's contract. So we knew he had the contract offer is final, right? We knew about Jenkins, his 2-year, $24 million deal. He's the center that came from Jordan Love, was his previous quarterback in Green Bay. Tevin Jenkins officially re-signed, so he's the lock. I I don't think he's going anywhere. And then Zion Johnson, guard, signed 3 years. I don't know if he's a lock, but for sure said he signed 3 years, $49 million with $32 million guaranteed. Then on the defensive side of the ball, Quincy Williams replaced what's the guy's name? Devin Bush, and Devin Bush is gone. And then we have Titus Howard. So we only had one person on the linebacker side, on the defender side of the ball, to make a move. The rest were all linemen on the surface. It looked like Andrew Berry is out here hustling. Yeah, scamming is probably more like it. We shall see. And we waived Justin Osborne, the center. He was waived and cut before they started. Cornelius Lucas, who came in last year on the 2-year contract, was released and his contract terminated. He wasn't even traded. Now, mind you, Cornelius Lucas' PFF is hovering around the same as Zion Johnson. So we pushed Cornelius Lucas out, who came in with an 80, high 70, low 80. No kidding. Leading with a 42 and bringing in Zion Johnson with a 42, a 32, or 52. I kid you not. This is what I mean by hustling or scamming. This is exactly what I mean. And this is a shame because somebody quarterback gonna get hurt. Some quarterback out here gonna end up like Deshaun Watson. And if they rotate them, maybe they can all, stay healthy. But they gonna need Jesus. Because these guys are not elite. And swapping out Cornelius, who had a 79 or 80, and sending him out the door with a 42 and terminating his contract is crazy. But you're going to bring in Zion with a 32, 42, or 52 with the same skill set. So is he going to see the light of his contract? Probably not. Cameron Thomas, defensive edge, went to Atlanta with Stefanski. And then Devin Bush. So Devin Bush and Cameron Thomas on the defensive side of the ball. Cornelius Lucas looked like he got straight up done dirty. And Andrew Berry brought him in last year after the draft. So we're getting these guys before the draft. We're just going to have to see what they do. But I'm telling you right now, what appears to be hustling, when you start researching and looking at who these people are, where they came from, their previous quarterbacks, their performance, and who we pushed out the door, is scamming. And the fact that they're going from mostly white to all black, they just want to blame them. Scamming. That's what it is. And Andrew Berry is leading the scamming. All right. So I think I had. Yep. I think that was everybody in terms of the Browns and what they had going on. Let's see. Oh, I wanted y'all to know who were the top linemen and free agents. So I wanted y'all to know who these people were, okay? Tyler Linderbaum, the center from the Ravens. Y'all know he went to the Raiders. Rasheed Walker, offensive tackle with Green Bay, widely considered the best remaining tackle after developing into a reliable left tackle. A what? A left tackle that we need to replace, which is Cam Robinson right now. For what team? The Green Bay Packers. And we got who from the Green Bay Packers? Scamming. This is exactly what I mean. This man is the best offensive tackle, the second best offensive tackle, considered the best remaining tackle after developing into a reliable left tackle for the Green Bay Packers, and we didn't get him. Instead, we got a 30-year-old that the same team that Rasheed Walker plays for released. He was injured, hadn't been to the Pro Bowl since 22-23, and we just gave him $20 million in guarantees, and Rasheed Walker is expected to command contract in a range of $20 million per year. So we could prioritize a left tackle, and I know as far as Shedeur, that's his blind side, right? That's Jordan Seaton, right? We couldn't prioritize a Jordan Seaton. Scamming. This is why I want y'all to know who the best are. And this guy played with the guy we just got. No disrespect to the guy we just got. And I want to say this. I'm not disrespecting any of these guys because honestly, they being put in impossible situations. They about to be put in impossible situations, and they're going to have to do what they don't want Batonio and Conklin and none of the other white linemen to get in trouble for. So I'm not hating on them. This is a heads up. Hopefully they get together and don't do it. Hopefully they don't do it. But why would you give these guys the bag when they're not the best? Because you're paying for something. Scamming. So next is Braden Smith, offensive tackle, a cornerstone of the Indianapolis Colts line for years. It said he remains a high-end starter at the right tackle despite recent injury concerns. Oh, we didn't get him either. Isaac Semalo, he's the guard, one of the most consistent interior pass blockers in the league. It said after a strong stint with the Steelers, he signed a 3-year deal with the Arizona Cardinals. I guess he's too good. Now, look who on the list. Joel Bitonio, the veteran Cleveland Browns standout, is a 7-time Pro Bowler. While contemplating retirement, he remains a top-tier pass blocking option if he decides to play a 13th season. The dirt diver is considered a top-tier option. Let's see where he lands. Let's see if he lands with a contender in what should be his year to retire. And I'm going to look at it as a reward, just like Mark Andrews. And you see who they prioritized and gave all the money to in Baltimore for tight ends, and let Isaiah Likely and the other tight end go. Defensive lineman and edge rules. All right, so we're not really worried about the defensive side of the ball. So there you go. Out of the Tyler Linderbaum, Rasheed Walker, Braden Smith, Isaac Samulo, and Joel Bitonio, the only person that was black was Rasheed Walker, and he was the best one, and they didn't get him. They got the guy that Green Bay said, okay, you could go. Scamming. Let me see what y'all think. So welcome to Green Bay, all of the guys. I don't mean no disrespect to any of them, because they gonna see. They get ready to see what's up. This a heads up, so they don't sell their soul and go out of here like Cornelius Lucas on the downside with your contract terminated with a 32 or 42 PFF and nobody else wants you. Heads up. All right, so it said, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Facts. It said, please like and share, subscribe. Yes, take a moment to please hit the like button. 107 of us, thank you so much. This was a very informative podcast, and it is up from here. It's just up from here. Scamming. That's what it is. And I said it on X. I said, all right, Andrew Berry, I see you. I said, I see you over there using your melanin as a mask to hide the devaluation of these black players over here. So you see they just came in, they got the bag. All right, let's see what they have to do for the bag. Let's see who the quarterback is first, because we're not really sure. But whoever it is, you're gonna need Jesus. I'm just gonna put it like that. You need Jesus and make friends with all these guys, but hope and pray that they don't get themselves compromised like the last crew. So, and if Cam Robinson is still over there, just know he gonna have the instructions on what to do. So I wish them all well, and I hope they all come together, and I hope they defy whatever stupidity they're asked to do and rally around the quarterback, including if it's Shedeur, if it's Kyler Murray, if it's Deshaun, because they could be giving you the bag to set up a black quarterback. It is not a coincidence that 2 of these guys had black quarterbacks previously. 3 of them, all 3 of them had black quarterbacks previously, including Tevin Jenkins, which was Shedeur. You see what they could be asking you to do to your own for money? Heads up. You being scammed? Let's see. Hey there, everybody. How you doing? Welcome back, crew. Welcome back. What's happening to the Ravens is what happened to the Eagles last season. Oh, really? So who failed their when you say happening to the Ravens, you mean, oh, this mantle? Yes, I totally agree. We talked about that. I said, man, and they moved fast. After the Super Bowl, it's like they just picked that team apart. I totally agree. Shout out to Nikki for that. She's right. That's exactly what happened to the Eagles. And who's the Eagles quarterback? Jalen Hurts. There you go. There's that trend. There's that pattern. There it is. Instead of Raiders on some slick stuff. Seems like it. Somebody on something. It said Maxx Crosby is damaged goods. So Isaiah, let's talk about that. You say Maxx Crosby is damaged goods. So he can't go nowhere else then, right? Because if he failed his physical, he gonna be in limbo until he fixed the problem, because another team can't just swoop in and get him. Like it looks like he will be changing teams because he don't want to go to the Ravens because they're no longer a contender. So are they playing in his face because he made a decision for himself? Thoughts? You know, he got that swagger. Just saying. Just saying. And you know he friendly with 12. All right. Good evening. Good evening. It said the AFC North Division could be won by the Browns and Shedeur on QB1. I totally agree. Oh, I totally agree. And here's the thing with these guys that we got, right? I'm not saying that you got to throw people out, you know, whatever. You can take a group of people and you can inspire them while they're on their way down. You can say, look, you know, you came in, go out with a bag. Honestly, you can do that. But I don't know if I would give them the bag, but since you gave it to them, you think you would want to motivate them. Who the hell is the offensive line coach? We need to start with that. Is it a new person or is it somebody from last year? That's one big question. But see, based on the way the Browns do business, right? If you think about Jerry Jeudy and his contract, how he got that contract in March of 24 after he failed in Denver and then came and became a menace in Cleveland. You see, that's what they're paying for sometimes. That's what they're paying for. Go out here and have one good year. You have a good reputation. We'll up your guarantee from 41 million to 50, or from 21 million to 42 million in 1 year, and you lead the league in drop passes 2 years in a row after that. So you have one good year, you get your guarantee upped, and then for the next 2 years, you just completely fail. How convenient. How convenient. Sometimes that's what they're paying for. And that's what I mean by no disrespect to none of these guys. I'm happy they all got the bag. They probably deserve it. Ain't no telling what they've been through. When you think about Jonathan Martin and how he was treated by Richie Incognito, and the higher-ups kind of encouraged Richie Incognito to harass Jonathan Martin, who was a black O-lineman, so he would quit, and he did. These guys probably been through hell themselves. And there's no telling what they were asked to do with C.J. Stroud and Jordan Love and Justin Herbert were. They might have wanted to just play ball, but, you know, somebody reminded me today, and I guess they thought they was going somewhere on X with this, when I was talking about the O-lineman and how Jordan Love was only sacked 5 times, and I like this guy a little better, but you see Rashid is still over there. And then I talked about C.J. Stroud being sacked 52 times and Justin Herbert being sacked 54 times, and we got those guys. And they were like, well, you know, the O-line is a team sport. I said, then you proved my point. We should have got none of them from that team if they all are responsible for their quarterbacks being excessively sacked over 50 plus times each. We shouldn't. There's too many other people out here. And who I read, you know, was just like the top people. There's some other people that are still out there. And the fact that they just terminated Cornelius Lucas' contract, I'm like, what the hell happened there? And you see how that was quietly done. They didn't talk about that publicly. They just said they waived him or something like that. It said, Ms. Pamela, looks like things are being arranged. I need them to solidify his position. No one wants to be in constant limbo. I totally agree. It said Penix and Tyreek Hill will have to pass the physical too. I haven't heard anything about Tyreek Hill. Is he still out there as a receiver? Is he a top receiver still available? Let's see. Top receivers in NFL free agency. Let's see. 2026 wide receiver free agents. Let's see who we have. Lamar is the last quarterback, I think, on that list. That was on that list. You see, they got 2 first. Isn't that crazy? And he left a $99 million dead cap. What? It said George Pickens, he's been franchise tagged, retained by Dallas. Alec Pierce, Indianapolis Colts, re-signed 4 years, $114 million to $116 million, guaranteed $84 million. He must be a dog. Mike Evans, Tampa Bay Bucks, signed 49ers 3 years, $60 million, and he probably gonna be on his way out after that. Wan'Dale Robinson, New York Giants, signed Titans. Oh, he with the Titans. Okay. 4 years, $78 million, $38 million guaranteed. Oh, okay. Romeo Dobbs. He got picked up. He was on the list, I thought, earlier today. He was with the Green Bay Packers, signed for the Patriots, 4 years, $68 million. See, that's what we should have got. And see, why we don't take the dead cap hit? Why the Browns don't take the dead cap hit with Jerry Jeudy? Miami took a $99 million dead cap hit with Tua just to move on from him. And y'all don't think Jerry Jeudy should have been the first one gone? But they made Njoku and Wyatt Teller the 1 and the 2 out the door, but not Jerry Jeudy. And the strategy is, well, let's get all these O-linemen since that's the priority. We won't worry about the receivers because they're going to probably keep Jerry Jeudy and that guy that they have on reserve. So let's talk about this. Since 4 of the 5 O-linemen are there, what they going to do in the draft with 10 picks? I mean, they did just say we need to get another running back because Quashawn got hurt, even though the running back room is stacked. I mean, I think that's ridiculous anyway. What they going to do with 10 picks if your priority is pretty much in place, the O-line? What you going to do with the first round, the first 2 picks in the first round? You're going to get one more O-lineman to replace Cam Robinson? Or are you going to get Cornell Tate, a wide receiver? Or what you going to do with it? Are you going to trade it away so you could get some more draft capital next year? So Romeo Doubs is gone. People were saying in Cleveland they could have got him. Rashid Shaheed, Seahawks re-signed 3 years, $51 million, $34 million guaranteed. Kendrick Bourne, San Francisco 49ers signed with the Cardinals 2 years, $11 million, $11.4 million. Tyquan Thornton, Kansas City Chiefs re-signed 2 years, $11 million. Top remaining available wide receivers are Jawan Jennings. He's age 29, a rugged contested catch specialist, formerly with the 49ers. Tyreek Hill, 32, hit the market after a unique release from the Dolphins, currently recovering from a 4-week leg injury. So they said 4-week leg injury. So in other words, it's not as severe. Deebo Samuel, 30, formerly with the Commanders, known for his elite versatility, but coming off of a career low speed season. Christian Kirk, 29, a reliable slot option coming off of a career low average with the Texans. No. Keenan Allen, 33, a veteran possession receiver who returned to the Chargers in 25, has shown interest in limited markets. He's 33. DeAndre Hopkins, 33, efficiency remained high in Baltimore despite low volume because he didn't really get to play. Serves as a veteran downfield threat. We should get this guy. I think we should get DeAndre Hopkins. That's just how I feel. Well, one, he's not compromised, and that's why he was underutilized because he's not compromised. They just probably might not want to put Deshaun back with DeAndre, but Monken is over there, so you would think he would get him, but isn't he the one that underutilized him? Well, there you go. Marquise Hollywood Brown, 28, a reliable contributor with deep speed, most recently with the Chiefs. Oh, that's somebody. Darryl Mooney, no. A former 1,000-yard receiver, most recently with the Falcons. That's it. That's it. So I don't know if we're going to do much moving and shaking in free agency of a quarterback. But since we have 4 of the 5 linemen, what we're going to do with 10 picks in the draft, if the priorities were lineman, offensive lineman, wide receiver, quarterback really isn't a priority. So what are we going to do when you have 10 picks and you have 4 linemen you just signed and the priority was lineman and wide receiver? Are you going to get 10 wide receivers? No, you're going to trade them picks and use them for next year. Draft capital. That's what I think. Let's see what happens. All right, so back to the comments. Did a team pick up Tyreek Hill? Not yet. Not yet. And he's past the age of 30, so I don't know. Plus the injury, it's some younger guys that are in their 20, 28 still. So, and I think once they start hitting 28, 29, 30, I don't know if they really want to prioritize them like that. They have to be super elite. Blind Beauty, how you doing? It said Penix is going to be destroyed by Stefanski. Yep, we're going to pray for him. It said, can't believe they did. Who? Who you talking about? Kingdom of Kush. We're not sure who you talking about. Let us know. It said AB was trying to lowball Malik Willis, and Malik still got his bag. Facts. It said, thanks to the Dolphins GM and coach, the GM was responsible for Malik being drafted by the Titans. Oh, okay. Oh, wait a minute. So the Dolphins GM was the old Titans GM? the GM was responsible for Malik Willis being drafted by the Titans. That was the black guy, right? They fired him last year. Is he in Miami? Let me know, Ramon. That's interesting. That's very interesting. It said Kyler Murray is being devalued so he can go to the Vikings. What, behind JJ McCarthy? I mean, he's already on a veteran minimum. What's that, $2 million? You can't get no more devalued than that. Let me tell you what they're doing. You're right. They are devaluing him, but not in a money sense because he got guaranteed money. They're devaluing him on where he lands on the depth chart. Oh, nobody else wanted you. We should know the script. We saw this play out in the draft. It's the same thing. The same thing. And remember, this is retaliation for that collusion case that you can go read the 61 pages where the owners are proven to collude against veteran quarterbacks. Did y'all know that Kirk Cousins was only one of the few people to have like a Deshaun Watson type fully guaranteed $200 million contract or something crazy like that? What the hell is going on with Kirk Cousins? Who is he related to? I don't see nothing. Absolutely nothing that warrants the type of money he has gotten. People said it is highway robbery. And I still have a post saved that talks about the worst deals in the NFL. And it's Deshaun Watson not even on the list, but Kirk Cousins is. Let's see where he end up this year. It said none of the above. Why not get some weapons for Shedeur? Because they don't want to win with Shedeur or Kyler Murray or Deshaun Watson. Let's see where he lives. I think the fact that the Falcons just hopped out there and got Tua, leaving $99 million in dead cap space, proves that Kyler Murray is being colluded against still. Just like Shedeur, which is why he could very well end up over there in Cleveland. Y'all saying Minnesota. Okay. We're going to see because free agency going to be over with as soon as it starts, especially for the Browns. It said, remember, Lamar is doing extension with the Ravens. Steve B, the owner of the Ravens, are making moves under the table. Yeah, I don't know. I think what they already shred that team and took them away from their contender status. They're going to have to get amongst themselves, quickly build some chemistry, and try to run it back. But I haven't seen the Ravens do anything outside of bringing in all the talent for Lamar to throw to Derrick Henry, only to push it all away, and Derrick Henry can't hold on to the ball. I haven't seen the Ravens do anything that say they truly value Lamar. And you would think, well, Harbaugh walking out the door and Monken too, and new people coming in, that things will be now set up to move forward and make a run for it. That could be further from the truth because they dismantled the team, took the best people and left the worst. And that's why Kyle Hamilton is quiet because they fired his defensive coordinator. So he probably just as disgruntled as Myles Garrett. And actually, Devin Bush may have left because of all of the chaos, and his defensive coordinator is gone. The reputation of the Browns is pushing people away. That and the fact that they want everybody, or if they give them the bag, you got to ask, so what you want me to do? It said Haslam lost his stadium funding today. I heard a judge blocked that stadium funding again for the third time and probably for the last time. He need to pay for that stadium himself. Keep the one you have. Oh, yeah, that's right. You don't want to be there no more. So let me tell y'all what the Brown Stadium funding is as of today. It said Ohio judge on March 9th issued a preliminary injunction blocking the state from issuing the $600 million in unclaimed funds to help finance the Cleveland Browns' proposed $2+ billion dome stadium in Brook Park. The ruling, which halts the transfer of funds approved in the state budget, supports arguments that using these funds violates property rights and due process. First of all of these sports teams out here, you need to pay for your own stadium. Fans are not all citizens of Cleveland and the state of Ohio are not NFL fans and should not be paying for the Cleveland Browns' new stadium. No, you don't even respect your damn fans. That's why there's a petition out from long-term fans who want accountability or new ownership. It said funding source. It said the plan aimed to use $600 million from Ohio's unclaimed funds, which is dormant bank accounts and uncashed checks, for the new stadium project. So imagine that you had a check that was given to you by the state of Ohio and you forgot, and the money's still sitting in a bank account. They want to use that for the Browns' new $2 billion dome stadium. I'll be there. I'll be like, I'm not even a Browns fan. Keep your hands off my money. I might remember that I have that check over there. Isn't that crazy? Isn't that cheeky? Isn't that greedy? Isn't that selfish? Instead, legal injunction. A Franklin County magistrate ruled that the state cannot take ownership of roughly $1.7 billion to $1.9 billion in unclaimed funds, including the $600 billion earmarked for the Browns. So they have almost $2 billion, and they were like, let me just get $600 million for it. If you're a billionaire, use your own damn money. Use your own damn money, or do what corporations do when they want something, some initiative paid for. They pass it off to their customers and see how much your customers value you and let them decide if they want to pay for that or not. You don't push that off on the citizens of the state of Ohio. That's greedy and it's selfish. No. So that's got to be the third injunction. It said current status, despite the legal roadblock regarding the specific funding source, the Browns began excavation on Brook Park on March 2nd. Do what you got to do, boo. But you better pay for it. It's their projected cost. The new stadium is expected to cost over $2 billion. It's that the impact is the ruling pauses the state's plan to transfer the money, which was initially scheduled to start on January 1, 2026. So they were expected to get the money January 1 in the new year, but a judge has blocked it. I think this is maybe a permanent injunction. So they decided, you know what? Let's just go ahead and start building it and we'll see what happens. And they said no. So use your own goddamn money. Use your own money. It's crazy to charge fans more money for tickets in a new stadium when your team isn't good and you're not even building to compete. You're building to keep a product on the field or to compromise people into doing whatever your agenda is that you think we can't see you and don't know about. And you want the fans to foot the bill for that? Y'all ain't like that, bro. People don't like y'all like that. I'm like, I think, in fact, this petition that came out shows that Browns people, Cleveland people, the ones on the ground, are losing favor with the Browns. The fact that they could let that stadium be empty like it was, they're no longer impressed. And a family member that had season tickets for 20 or 26 years said, we are done. So why the hell should people like that pay for your stadium? They should not. Raise your damn prices and see if your fans want to pay for it. And if they don't, then you go out of business like everybody else. I'm like, you claim you don't like charity for people who need charity, but you want charity, or you just want to steal other people's shit. No. So shout out to whoever brought that up. Pam. Thank you for Miss Pamela. Thank you for that. Great show. And being a longtime suffering Browns fan since 75, I would love to see Shedeur behind a strong O-line and time to throw and a real number one wide receiver and complimentary tight end to go with Fanning. Facts. Facts. I totally agree with you. I mean, I think that's exactly what people want to say. And welcome to our community. We hope you could keep hanging out with us. Super Cap Ray, Jesus lives. Yes, Jesus lives. And these guys, these quarterbacks in Cleveland going to need Jesus. Shout out to Super Cap Ray, Browns fan, for being in the chat. Y'all be very welcoming. We do live streams of games when she does quarterback. We watch the highlights if he not, just because he is QB1. So we're happy that you're on board with us. So welcome, everybody. And while we are here, can we please subscribe? Thank you. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Hype me up. Hype me up. All right, 173 of us or 23 of us. Yay, yay, yay. All right, so let's keep going through the comments and see what we got. Super Cap Ray, turn on your notifications. We hang out every night at 10:35 and go live in the day sometimes. But we here every night at 10:35. So we happy to have you. Isaiah said the Browns are a scam and AB is setting himself up to be fired after the 26th season. I totally agree. I have no sympathy. I totally agree. I really think that I said, AB, you know you're being set up. They get ready to make you shake up this quarterback room and piss off 20 million people and the other 10 million people that know Shedeur is QB1, and they're going to blame you, and then they're going to kick you right on out the door. And Tom Telesco going to take your job. Matter of fact, he probably already got it. So maybe you playing some kind of chess, giving all these black dudes the the bag, which I'm not mad, but at the same time, don't ask them to hurt. Now, one of these quarterbacks, including our guy, all of them, I don't have no problem with Deshaun. He didn't do nothing to me. And he wasn't the only one getting massages over there in Houston. And I've said that multiple times. So shout out to Deshaun and Jilly. We see y'all. Hell, he might be the one to get out of here. He might get his freedom papers. Let's see who it is. Let's see who it is. Another great show. Thank you so much. It said these offensive line is an upgrade over last year. Plus, Barry planning to get 2 of the top offensive linemen in college. It said 1 from Alabama and 1 from Ohio State. Okay, so you saying they're going to use 2 picks on 2 linemen. Okay, let's see what happens. Let's see who they are. Thank you for that, 22. Welcome back. It said the Browns are going to trade Myles Garrett before the season starts. It said knowing the Browns, they will do something. So, okay. So since yesterday, the donkey of the day, the football donkey of the day was the Ravens. That's day 1. Who is the football donkey of the day for day 2? I mean, I can't rag on the Browns, because Andrew Berry hustling, scamming and hustling at the same time. I'm pretty sure he better know they're trying to push him out. And I'm not going to feel sorry for him. He need to move on. Stop using your melanin as a mask to do they agendas. Don't do that. So God don't like it. So just be prepared to pack your rags and move on. So we just gonna have to see. I don't know. Y'all let me know who the donkey of the day is for the day. I mean, I don't really know if I have one today. What Atlanta do? What Atlanta do? Because yesterday it was the Ravens, followed by the Browns, and then today I think it's Atlanta. I had this one post saved, y'all, that somebody said that Kevin Stefanski has turned the Atlanta Falcons into the Cleveland Browns in 2 weeks. I said, what? They said, let me see if I can find it. I thought that was hilarious. We got to keep our eye on Lamar and see what happened with his contract extension. I'm not sure if they want him to sign it. I'm not sure. I think they might not want him to sign it. So let's see. I'm trying to see if I have so many posts. It said, here it is right here. Let me share this with y'all. It said Kevin went to Atlanta and turned them into the Browns overnight. Is really crazy. It said there's serious legal issues, essay allegations, firing assistants in short time frames, acquiring hated QBs, and acquiring robotic QBs, and signed a hooper. What? It said he's basically speed run his Brown tenure, which is supposed to be 5 to 6 years in 2 months. So basically, Kevin Stefanski is not making any friends in Atlanta. He might be donkey of the day. Well, he's definitely that perpetual, for sure. It said Atlanta will still have a better record than the Browns this year. It said the entire league is terrified of the vaunted Tua Pitts Hooper offense. It said they have a pipsqueak division that hasn't been relevant since Brady retired. So we got people, I think they're going back and forth. They just trying to say the Browns don't have a better season than the Falcons. It said the first season is going to pop off. The future, yeah, we don't know. So this is a prediction. I think the donkey of the day goes to the Falcons. For one, I don't have a problem with them bringing Kyle Pitts back, because part of the contention when I was paying attention to the Falcons last year was that Michael Penix Jr. wanted Kyle Pitts to be there because he's good. And for whatever reason, the team, like the somebody higher up, I don't know who it was, maybe the offensive coordinator, was shunning Kyle Pitts. And I remember Michael Penix Jr. saying, when he got, he started, they won, and Kyle Pitts was out there and they won with him. He said there's going to be more of that, meaning Michael Penix Jr. to Kyle Pitts. And I put my head down and was like, oh, Lord. And sure enough, they was gunning for him. Ever since he said, see, this is the problem. See, quarterbacks have influence. Well, traditionally, until this year, quarterbacks have influence. And generally, if you studied Peyton Manning, you probably know he probably picked who some of his receivers were and things of that nature on the team. and wanted to build chemistry, and they let him, probably went to him and asked him, hey, Peyton, what you think about this guy? And he like, no, because Tom Telesco is documented, scouted for Peyton Manning. Now, he didn't own the team, so what the hell was he scouting? It's documented. Go look it up. So that's who was sent over to the Browns before Monken came to help. It said it, documented, Andrew Berry hire a coach, which he wasn't helping Andrew Berry do nothing. He hired, Tom Telesco hired Monken, because Monken is in the Manning circle of coaches along with who? Steve Sarkisian. And where does Arch Manning go to school? Texas. So, and y'all know the rest. Monken recruited him to Georgia. So it said the Browns actually might trade Myles Garrett. We talked about one of the jaw-dropping decisions being Myles Garrett, but when they said shaking up the quarterback room, instead of it being a jaw-dropping decision and shaking up the quarterback room, we just assumed they meant the jaw-dropping decision was shaking up the quarterback room, and we just took Myles off the survey. And as you can see, 65% of people think that it is Shedeur and or Deshaun or both to be traded. Now, one of the reasons people keep thinking it's Shedeur is because what's coming out of Cleveland are statements like this. The Browns are not counting on Shedeur. So if you're not counting on Shedeur, you must be trading him because you think he's just going to let him sit there. So I think they might be trading. I think they might be trading Shedeur. And the crazy part is you got rid of everybody who gravitated towards him. And now you're going to trade him? That's a little weird. And then Deshaun take over for his last year, along with Kyler Murray and Justin Fields or Daniel Jones or somebody. So we're going to see. We're going to see. We're going to see. We're going to see. I think the Browns might feel like they better off without Shedeur because they're taking a hit on this stadium. They PR nightmare is problem. The long-term 20 years, 6-year fans sick and tired of them. And then there's 20 million people looking for accountability where Shedeur was concerned. And then there's that robbery. Never forget that. Now I want to see what happened after Dillon gone. It's that also it's about getting good offensive line coach. And I know we have one and he's black. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't care what color he is. Because if he's doing all the bidding, which he likely has to do because he's an employee, it don't matter. Just like these linemen being all black and they were mostly white, it really don't matter if they're compromised. Look at Jerry Jeudy. Isn't he black? Okay. So that don't matter. I want to know who it is. Is it the guy from the Ravens? Did anybody come with Monken from the Ravens? Like anybody? Or did he come by himself? Don't y'all find that interesting? I do. I think that's weird. Eagles are still losing players. I don't doubt it because they're going to make it harder for Jalen Hurts to get back. Instead, they're going to devalue Maxx Crosby now. Cowboys. Somebody, I did hear people saying he should go to the Cowboys. Okay, so y'all think Maxx Crosby going to end up with the Cowboys after he passed his physical? And how long is that going to be? Because if he failed his physical, he got something he needs to pay attention to, right? Let's see what happens. So we hearing the Cowboys. Where else do y'all think Maxx Crosby would end up? Cleveland? Myles Garrett pushed out. Maxx Crosby brought to Cleveland. Let me know your thoughts. All right, we getting ready to wrap up. This was good. It said Kyler Murray will not be released from his contract until tomorrow. That's why he wasn't picked up, but it's a good chance that he's going to be a starter because J.J. McCarthy is not ready to be a starter. J.J. McCarthy, why is he still in the league? Let's just be honest. What value does he have? I mean, his GM got fired, but I'm pretty sure he didn't want to draft J.J. McCarthy. Will Shedeur end up in Minnesota with J.J. McCarthy? Somebody moving. The jaw-dropping news is either Myles Garrett or the quarterback, and that's one part of it, or the shakeup. And maybe this Maxx Crosby thing changes things, right? I don't know. I think it's kind of convenient that Crosby suddenly failed his physical after the team was ripped to shreds and after there was talk that Joe Burrow was just going to be under fire the entire time because of who they play. I don't know. Let's see how long it takes Maxx Crosby to repair whatever issue popped up in his in his physical and what team he ended up with. If it's a contender or not, it will speak volumes. So stay tuned for that. Now, here's what we're going to do tomorrow. I'm already going to tell you what we're going to do tomorrow. I don't like to tell you what we're going to do tomorrow. I'm going to put a pin in it, but I'm going to tell you what I'm planning. All right. So we have talked about the Baltimore Ravens and Lamar. We have talked about Michael Penix Jr. and the Falcons. And, of course, we talk about the Browns quarterback. So tomorrow we will update with the Browns, and we're going to move into either Caleb Williams or Jalen Hurts or Jaden Daniels. We're going to move into, remember that chart with the 16 black quarterbacks plus one with Shedeur, 17. So we've already talked about 3 of the 17 black quarterbacks from last year, including Shedeur. So now we're going to move on the list, and we're going to start looking at the transactions and free agency with the Washington Commanders, who we already talked about a little bit, because what the Dan Quinn is on the record saying that he wants to go to a run-heavy offense, which is bypassing, for the most part, Jaden Daniels. And he'll not be the leader. So we want to see. There was one lineman that Andrew Berry was crushing on from the Washington Commanders, and I just shook my head because every lineman we have gotten, with the exception of one, all had black quarterbacks, and black quarterbacks are not the majority of all quarterbacks. So we will be moving into other quarterback conversations, starting with the Browns or finishing with the Browns. It will always include the Browns because of Shedeur. And y'all let me know. Name 2 more quarterbacks. We want to look at their transactions to see what they're setting up for. Name 2 black quarterbacks that was a part of, I mean, if you want to name a white quarterback, that's fine too. But I was going by the ones that are 17 to 32, 16 plus Shedeur. Because it was supposed to be 17. So we're going to stick with that. So let me see who y'all picked out. And I'm just going to draw 2 or 3 names from that. And I'm going to study them. And we're going to present them on tomorrow with the transactions that have happened with their teams. Let's see. All right. So who y'all saying? Let's see. So we already talked about Lamar. It said, yes, the offensive line coach is from Baltimore. Okay. So he brought somebody from Baltimore. I'm going to have to look into that person. Thank you, 22. Browns will never trade Myles Garrett nor Shedeur because Monk and Shedeur have the it factor, and Shedeur will bring the fans to the stadium. Also, Deshaun will be cut in June 1st. Oh, you think Deshaun gonna get cut? Okay. All right, y'all. I need the names. Kenny Pickett to the Panthers. That's facts. You're welcome. Great show, Nola girl. You're welcome, 22. Glad to have you back. It says someone in Atlanta posted tanking with Tua. Dang. So if that's the case, what I said is true. They get ready to let Tyler Shaw come through. The Saints are eerily quiet. I don't hear nothing about the Saints. Let me get the 17 to 32 out the way, and we might swing back around and catch the other guys. But it's imperative that we check on the 17 to 32 to see what's transpiring with them, because I already see a trend between Atlanta, the Browns, and the Ravens, and Washington, the Commanders. That's 4. So I need y'all to give me the name of 2 or 3 quarterbacks to study for tomorrow. If not, I'll just pick them myself, and we'll just see what's up. CJ Stroud. Okay, so we're going to look into what's going on with CJ tomorrow. Watson failed a physical. No, we're talking about Maxx Crosby. Wilson and Murray. Well, Kyler Murray, we kind of already talked about him. He kind of don't have a team no more. So we got to wait to see where Kyler Murray go first. When you say Wilson, you talking about Russell, you can't talk about them because they don't have teams yet. We got to wait until they get a team, Miss Pamela. But those are good suggestions. So I got CJ Stroud. I need 1 more or 2 more. Who else we have? No, not Watson, Maxx Crosby. Maxx Crosby failed his physical. All right, so I'll tell you what. If y'all don't give me no more, I'll just go with CJ. So we'll look into I know what we're going to do. We're going to look into the Tennessee Titans. Gino don't have where's he with the Jets? Oh Lord, don't make me study the Jets. Gino, so you want to see what's going on with Geno Smith? All right, so we'll look. Oh my God, we'll look at Geno Smith. 2 of y'all said Gino. We'll look at Geno Smith, CJ Stroud, and Cam Ward. That's 3. Might just be 2. All right, CJ, Geno Smith. That's what we got for tomorrow on deck with Shedeur and the Browns. So that's the trio for tomorrow. All right, so I'm going to study these teams and see what they got going on with their transactions to see if we can see the same trend and pattern with the Browns, the Commanders, the Ravens, And is that everybody? The Ravens, the Browns, the Commanders. It seemed like somebody else. I don't know. Whoever it is, we'll just pick them up tomorrow. We'll grab CJ. We talk about him anyway. Somebody said Justin Fields. He don't have a team. He got the quarterback has to have a team. I could just tell you he a free agent, but he has to have a team first. He has to have a team for us to see what the team that they're on is planning to do for 2026. The other guys, we'll just tell you where they are when free agency closes. If you don't have a team, I can't tell you what they're doing. And he was with the Jets anyway, right? Yeah. So CJ Stroud, Geno Smith, Shedeur Sanders tomorrow, in addition to the Falcons, the Ravens, and the Browns. Cool. All right. So that's what we're doing tomorrow. All right. I'll see y'all tomorrow night on the latest buzz. Thanks for watching. Please do not forget to subscribe. Y'all know how close I am. Because it seems like every time I say it out loud, somebody unsubscribes. So I'm not going to say it no more. Y'all know what it is. Y'all know what it is. Show the channel love. Don't forget, you can buy me a coffee at buymeacoffee.com. Look up What She Said Sports. I thank y'all for supporting the channel. I'll see y'all tomorrow night on the latest buzz with What She Said Sports. Have a good night, and I'll pop up in the daytime if it's warranted. Otherwise, I'm just getting ready for tonight. See you. Have a good one. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Hype me up. Hype me up.